episode number 2, and Beer Can Cold podcast with JG and Will. And today we brought in reinforcements. All right, fine, watch. However, this is for Brian Boer. It's Diet Pepsi. He was asking the other day. So, no, we can't. We're in the office. We have work trucks, me and Jason, so we got to be nice. But we will do one of these from the, a headquarters somewhere where we can partake. But we're coming to you live today from the world headquarters of Boer Brothers University and Effective Media Solutions. Effective Media in Charlotte, world headquarters there, and then we're in Durham, North Carolina. So today we're going to talk all about customer service. Pretty excited about that. And so that's why we brought Jason with us. Jason is one of our comfort consultants here at Boer Brothers. And we'll find out in a minute, Will, but we have actually walked a lot of the same paths.
Yep.
So it should be good. Jason, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, so my name's Jason Wilson. Been in the industry for going on probably 20 years.
God, you're old.
Yeah, like you. But I started in the industry. Actually, it goes a little further back than that because a girlfriend that I had back in the early 2000s, her dad was an HVAC contractor and an electrician. And I would work the weekends when I was actually a North Carolina wildlife officer at the time. And I would work the weekends. Yeah, man, I've done a little bit of everything. But he was a contractor, and I'd go help him on the weekends. We'd do HVAC, and we'd do electrical work. And so I kind of got my feet wet there with crawling under houses and knowing what to look for. And after I left the Wildlife Commission, I got hooked up with a company in Raleigh called Allen Kelly and Company, and they were a sizable outfit, very good company. They started me out as an installer's helper just to get some additional time out in the field to kind of know, what to look for and how long things took. And as I did that for about probably 4 months, they had a position come available, and they moved me right into it as one of their retail sales guys. So I worked for them for 2 years before the market fell out in 2008. And that's where I kind of cut my teeth, so to speak, with the sales side of things. And such a great company to work for there because they really invested in their people. And they sent me off to be trained and, several different places while I was working there over the next 2 years. 2008 came along, the economy tanked. We had 3 salespeople and really didn't have enough leads for 3 people at that time coming in. So it was one of those things where I was going to have to go back out in the field or I was going to have to go somewhere else. So I chose to go to another company, and I went to a company a little closer to home. I worked for Warren Hay Mechanical out of Hillsboro for 2 more years while I was waiting for I was gaining experience. My interest really at that time were to go into distribution to be an account manager for Trane. And when a position came available, I lateraled into that position and really hit the ground running there. I worked for them for 12 years as an account manager. And then, after COVID, I just had enough of corporate America. And Boer Brothers was my largest client, and they planted a seed a long time ago. Cody actually planted a seed, and Cody told me that if I ever left Trane to please come talk to them. And so, long story short, 12 years later, I ended up starting with Boer Brothers as a retail sales professional, and I've been doing it for the past almost 2 years now, and really enjoy it here. It's a great company. Probably wouldn't have went anywhere else. I'd worked with a lot of different contractors, through the distribution side over the years, and I just like the culture here. I know you guys talked about the culture in the podcast prior, and the culture here it's different than it is other places that I've been in,
It is.
and
Yeah.
so that's really what attracted me. That and the level of customer service that Boer Brothers provided their customers. I saw from the time when I was their account manager when they were using a different brand at the time before they came on with Train, they were having some quality issues, and rather than just tell the homeowner, hey, it is what it is, our labor warranty's up, they did the right thing. They pulled the equipment out and they bought Train equipment from me at Train and slapped it in and kept rolling. And so they built a tremendous reputation by taking it on the chin sometimes, and probably most of the time to make their customers happy. And so to me, that's a big part of customer service, is doing the right thing.
And
Yes.
that's why I asked Jason to come on the podcast, because the three sales guys, actually all our company, but right, so the three sales guys here, and I'm sorry if I called you sales guys, you're comfort consultants. They do such a great job of taking care of our customers, and the repeat business is very good, right? And so market study was done the other day here for us, and just come to find out that we deal really, really well with our current customers, and gain new customers very well. But it's like that piece of just stepping over and really just taking care of the customer above and beyond. Like I think, Jason, you told me the other day you went in and fixed someone's brickwork because, like, when we put a pack in that didn't line up the way you wanted it, so you jumped in and did some brickwork for them. So it's just stuff we do.
Yeah, to me, at the end of the day, I just want the customer to be happy and have no regrets of going with Boer Brothers.
Yeah.
I make promises when I'm out there in front of them, and I want to make sure we uphold our promises and we stand behind our product and stand behind our work. That is what it's all about, treating them as a customer the way you want to be treated, and treat them like family. And if you do that, they become family. They won't go anywhere else. I mean,
Customer for life.
that's right. And then customers like that, they're much more likely to recommend you to their neighbors, to their family, to their friends. So it just it's exponential from there.
Yeah.
Well,
I
didn't you write an article the other day about this?
me?
Yeah, I thought you did.
No, I've done some stuff like I said on culture, and I think it all kind of intertwines, but it's going above and beyond. And I think our industry does somewhat have a bad rap, and the bar is low.
Yeah.
And I've talked about that for years, and it's not that hard doing the right thing.
That's right.
And you got someone, typically a customer, it's a grudge purchase.
Mm-hmm.
No one's wanting to put out the kind of money it costs these days to replace their system, and they don't understand how much it costs these days. The costs have skyrocketed in the last few years after COVID and all the supply chain issues and just everything. It's gotten ridiculous. So number one, they don't want to spend the money anyway. And this, Jason, you're talking to them firsthand.
Well, yeah.
And, so if they're doing it, they want to be happy about as much as they can about the purchase. But it's going above and beyond and taking care of them. And I hear it from so many people that they just don't get that type of customer service. Little simple things. Hey, we're on our way. We're a lot of customers that we work with, they'll text and say, hey, service technician's on his way. We're coming out. We're running a little behind, and just want to let you know what's going on. And then following up after the sale. I think that's a big thing too of happy calls.
Mm-hmm.
Going back, a lot of customers will go out 6 months after, 1 year after, just to make sure everything's right, go through with the homeowner, make sure they understand everything, and then just doing everything you can to make them happy and building and growing that relationship, because like I said, you want to have them for the rest of your life. That's what we look at in our business. We want to, once we start working with a contractor, I look at it, when I was a TM, on the distribution side, I said, hey, when I start working with someone and that relationship starts, I want to be with them forever.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the case. Not always the case, But that's the way I look at it. I take it to heart when we lose business. I'm sure same thing to you guys. If you lose to someone else, why? What drove it to that? And I think a lot of us in this industry think it's so much price driven, but so many studies show that's not the case.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, it's when bad things happen that great customer service has an opportunity to shine, right? So it happens. There's just things that'll go wrong in day-to-day heating and air because we're asked as heating and air guys to do things that somebody like that builds a refrigerator gets to do in a climate-controlled factory. We got to do it out in the field in the mud. It's tough. And I would never forget a big lesson I learned about customer service and making it right is I was a service manager for a small company in D.C. and sticking along the lines of not naming names, but I don't think they're in business anymore. So, and no, it's not because I worked there that they're not in business anymore. It just happened, okay? So, but I was a service manager, and we had a call come in we had a brand new install on Friday evening, of course, that the outdoor unit's not coming on. And so one of the other managers was there, and we jumped in the truck. Well, the backstory is that we just started doing duct cleaning. So everybody was heavily incentivized to offer duct cleaning to everybody. And we taught them the way to sell duct cleaning was you take a wet wipe, right, and you find the return, and you wipe it, and you walk up to the customer and say, this is what your ductwork looks like, and then we get a duct cleaning schedule. So along this line of customer service, we show up, we find out that there was just a wiring issue in the outdoor unit. We get it running for them, and while I'm talking to the customer and getting everything squared up, my buddy, Steve, saw an opportunity, took a wet wipe and wiped the return and walked back to the customer, and I saw this entire thing unfold in slow motion. I see the wet wipe, I see this coming, and he goes, and I even heard the voice was in slow motion. Hey, I'm sorry that we had an issue, but you really should think about duct cleaning. Well, a duct cleaning truck pulled out 20 minutes before we got there. So it was like we missed a return, right? So it's like, Mrs. Jones, we will be back here tomorrow morning to finish this duct cleaning. And she left us a great review because we didn't hide it. We messed up. We missed something. All it was that the rest of the ductwork was completely clean. They forgot a return. And so, we took care of it. But the review was great. And the point being is that, sometimes really crappy stuff can get you the best reviews. It just depends on how you handle it.
Yeah. And I remember being taught way back when that there was an automotive study done back in the 70s and 80s. And it said consumers that bought a vehicle and had issues with it, and then the manufacturer took care of it, were more likely to buy that brand again than if they purchased a brand and had no issues with it. So
That's
it's
right.
all about, things happen, but it's all about when bad things happen and how you handle those. And that's the time to shine, going above and beyond.
Right.
It's just, it's sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it costs you money to do it, but it's the right thing to do. And it's about not looking at the short term, it's about looking at the long term.
Yeah, no, you're right. But it kind of comes back to what we talked about the other day about that company culture piece, right? Because it's like if the company believes and understands that the customer is the most important thing in our daily life, because without a customer, we don't have a company. If everybody understands that piece and understands that we're going to go out of our way to do everything we can for a customer, then we're going to be just fine, right? The customer service will take care of itself, but it's an inherent thing. And I'll tell you, we struggle a little bit with the younger, not the millennials, what's the guys after those, the younger guys?
Gen Z.
Generation.
Yeah.
I'm Gen X. I'm old.
Gen X.
And so they don't have that same want sometimes, right? And they're just young guys. So it's really, it takes a big effort. And so we started this week doing this really big thing about making them understand that customer is king and that they're important. Right? The text itself is important. You're there to save lives. Because, I did a quick 5-minute thing. I took and went on Google, and I just type in heating and air saving lives, right? And the first big 4 things that came up was all about elderly people freezing to death, and it's showing these texts there's very important people in life. There's first responders. Consider yourself a first responder and consider good customer service, because if you're out there when they need you, we're going to be a great company, right? And we already do that. It's just getting the message across and getting the team to buy in, you know?
Yeah. You know, I've learned too, you know, one of the biggest things as far as providing customer service is just answering your phone. You know, when you got somebody calling and you're not busy, don't send it to voicemail. Pick the phone up, answer it, and have that conversation. You know, it may be a tough conversation. You don't know what you're getting into, but if you answer, you know, that customer is going to feel like, hey, you know, these people are there when I need them, you know, and that's always been something for me. Even when I was account manager at Train, you know, I didn't dodge phone calls. I would answer the phone if I wasn't with a customer face to face and in a sit down meeting. I was going to be answering my phone and taking care of whatever they needed, and that's just how I built the relationship I had with Boer Brothers and other dealers that I interacted with, and that's how I do my customers. So I think it's very important just to have that open line of communication so that they can get you when they need you.
No, I agree. Are you going to say it or I'm going to say it? What was hammered into us for, 12 years? 3-ring policy, right?
Well, yeah, we did. And I'll take that for a second. Yeah, we had a 3-ring policy at Virginia Air, and or the customer got $100, and literally, you know, somebody diving across a desk to grab a phone to do that, and but I even take it back before that. I remember Ferguson Enterprises, and we had a policy when I was there in distribution was. Danny Wilson, branch manager at the time. I'll drop his name. They had a deal basically. It was an unwritten rule, but it was $1,000 rule. If it cost the company under $1,000 and it was in the customer's best interest, do it.
Yeah.
And I remember one day having to drive down to York, South Carolina to one of our customers down there to take. I can't remember, some simple part, but it was like on a Friday morning. It's the first thing I got in there and got in the pickup truck and drove it down there first thing. Cause I can't remember if it was left off the order or what happened, but it was in the best interest of the customer. Or just doing the right thing. You know, it's something that we didn't charge them for. If it meant taking care of them and doing the right thing, it meant something. And we had a loyal following. And that carried through to, Virginia Air where we were.
Well, and do you remember the out of warranty parts privilege that we had at Virginia Air? It's like I didn't have many people that invoked it. But the fact that they knew the distributor was going to stand behind them with a unit that's out of warranty for an elderly lady or a military person or whatever it might be, that's good customer service. That's taking care of your own, right? And it was a good culture. It really was. And I had a contractor here and there that would use them, but I remember getting that phone call. And it's like, hey, I got this. I remember this one vividly. It was in Fayetteville, and the husband was deployed. She was there with a baby. The finance is tied up some other way, and it's like, listen, man, this compressor went out, and it's 12 years old. Sure, I'll get you a compressor. No problem. Don't worry about it. If you donate the labor, we'll donate the part. And that just takes care. It was distributor taking care of the contractor take care of the customer. And customers for life, right? That's just what it does. It's a good relationship.
Yep. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So on the customer service piece, how do you deal currently, Jason, with high prices? Because I think that plays into customer service a little bit, because customers are going to feel like you're gouging them, right? Because it is really expensive right now.
So we try to build the value of Boer Brothers, the value of, Cody, Josh, and myself. We're going to be there for the customer, before, during, and after the sales process to, take care of any issues, any questions. But, we also try to build value in our proposal. I mean, our proposal alone, we do things above and beyond, which a lot of people don't in the replacement market, to try to give a better end product, which is like changing out the plenums, removing any line ductwork in the airstream and putting R8 wrapped foil lined insulation on the exterior. These things are important. A lot of people don't think about it, but we try to verbalize that so they understand that, hey, we're doing more than what the other guys are doing. We're providing this extra service, and this is what it does for you. It doesn't allow moisture to build up on the inside of the plenum and cause microbial growth. These things are huge when it comes to that system getting 3, 4, 5 years old. You don't have that ductwork that's getting nasty on the inside, causing problems with the indoor air quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you can build value by telling what you do above and beyond, it's pretty easy to overcome the price differential because, we're never going to be the cheapest, but we're the best.
Right.
And we're going to give you a superior product at the end of the day.
It's like that whole thing of making that person part of your family, because it's really not customers at the end of the day, right? It's all family. And so, making sure that that's taken care of. Well, what have you been hearing from, you deal with a lot more companies than we do. Like, what do you hear some of the things that they do that's kind of out of the box to take care of their customers?
Well, I wanted, we can go back to the whole
sorry.
topic first. I wanted to interject on that because really it doesn't boil down to price. I see all these different studies that a lot of industry outfits do, and it's never price. But our industry as a whole, and it frustrates me, they let it get driven down to price.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that's the moonlighter, he's going and buying a unit at wherever outlet that'll sell it to him, and he's $8,000 cheaper than you. How can that be? And I think it boils down to we don't communicate enough value in our business. And here's what my take on it is: the consumer looks at purchasing HVAC, heating and air conditioning, like buying a normal appliance.
Yeah.
So let's take a big screen TV, for example. I want a 55-inch TV, and I want it to be 4K, and I want this response rate, and I want all these things with it. So then I look at that. All right, and then I break it down to there's brands. So I'm gonna look at these 2 or 3 different brands, and then what do? They go, all right, I go shopping, find where I can find it the cheapest place.
Mm-hmm.
A commodity, and we all know, everyone in this business, it's so much involved in this industry. It's the installation, it's the setup of the equipment. It's like you're talking about, Jason. It's looking at the ductwork.
Mm-hmm.
So many companies don't want to touch ductwork anymore because it's highly labor intensive. But I tell any of my friends, they're looking at you, so I'm like, what does your ductwork look like? It's like having a heart transplant and then all your veins and arteries are clogged.
Yeah.
And that's not being addressed. And so you could put a brand new system on an old crappy duct system. It might not perform as well as the original.
That's right.
And that's not what they're looking for. So you got to communicate that value to go, this isn't like buying a television or a refrigerator. It's more about the company that's installing it. And then it's the backup, like we were saying earlier, if problems occur. I remember a customer way back in the day, and he said, he had a friend of his that had a system replaced, a guy I went to church with. And he gave him an estimate. They didn't want to do it because it was more expensive. Well, this guy put it in. He had issues. Well, guess what? He couldn't get him to come back. He said the guy ended up leaving the church.
Yeah.
Didn't come back anymore because of that. So, no, I think pricing, back to your original question, sorry, I just want to throw that in.
No, it's good.
I've been a big advocate of that for so long, is you've got to communicate value, because it's not price driven, because your company's not the same as the guy down the street and whatever. But I think they look at a lot of things, conveying value. Like you said, you're checking everything in the house. You're supposed to do a load calculation today. People don't still,
Yep.
Your duct blaster testing. I'm not up on all the codes these days, but I remember in my downstairs system place a couple of years ago, they did a duct blaster test.
Mm-hmm.
I had new duct replaced with it. But I think it's little things, going back after the sale, you're coming back a couple of weeks after it's installed, letting them know, hey, I'm sure you probably do this, Jason. Here's my card. Here's my cell phone number. You can call me.
Absolutely.
After the fact. And I think it's the whole thing too, is, we have a reputation. Go look at our Google reviews. How long have we been in the marketplace? We're going to be here 5 years from now, 10 years from now, versus this other person that, hey, everybody knows somebody.
Yeah.
I see it all. You've heard me talk about this. Everybody comes to me because they know Will's been in HVAC forever. And, who can you use? And there's such and such. And this one guy did on one of our friends' chats on WhatsApp, and he put this guy's name. I looked him up. I'd never heard of him. And he's working out of his house.
Yeah.
Not that he's probably a great guy. I don't know. I'm not downgrading the guy, but I just, you got to look at things like that. If it's when the problems happen.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest things companies have to sell today. Is we're going here to have your back.
Right. Well, it's like, the other day in our service meeting, we were talking about handling objections, right? And so one of the objections that came up was, hey, why are you so much more expensive than the other guy? And it's like, it's actually one of the objections I enjoyed handling the most, because I'll take the other estimate, take it apart. Okay, so if I paid less in labor than he did, my guys will be working for him. If I paid less for my equipment, or if I paid more for my equipment, nobody would buy from me. I wouldn't have the departments I have, and so like just putting it back on the customer, where are they cutting the corners, right? What are they not doing that we are doing, right? So I used to leave the sheet behind that actually used to come out of the All Right software. You could print it out, and it was a landmine sheet, and it was a checklist for a customer to say, hey, if you're not going to choose me, or if you're thinking about looking at other estimates, make sure that all these things were checked off. Did they do a load? Are they licensed? Do they have a lettered van? Like there's different things that goes into that. And actually got a lot of customers calling me back going, hey, use your checklist. Can you come sit down and help me compare these estimates? Absolutely. Right? Because it comes back to that value building piece. Man, people don't realize lower end furnaces and lower end, like the minimum SEER stuff, they're all within $200 or $300 of each other. It's not some huge markup. It's higher efficiency stuff. Yes, there's a little bit more. I'm talking about between brands. It's like the higher efficiency stuff gets a little bit more. Some brands maybe a little bit more others. But your middle of the road stuff, that's all the same. All three of us were territory managers. We know we would go into businesses. We would look at other people's prices. We were trying to get competitive. It's all within $200 to $300. So that's not where it is. It's the service. It's the labor. It's that after the sale customer service, that's where it lives. Yep. And I'm going to charge for that. I have to charge for it, or I won't be in business.
Do they trust the people?
There you go.
I say that a lot. Some of these people, I hate to say it, sometimes you see some of the people in the business, like, well, I wouldn't let them in my house.
Yeah.
You got to look professional too, and be polite and courteous. I remember the guys that did my downstairs system a couple of years ago. Had a new guy helper, and he was the most polite, well-mannered young man. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was like, I had to leave. I was going out, and they were here. I'm like, hey, come in. The bathroom's right here out in the garage. It's, if you need anything to drink or whatever, just go in the fridge.
Yeah.
I trust him.
Yeah.
That's like my guy today. I trust the company. I've been working with them for years, and they know where the key is to get in the house. If I'm not here, they're coming to do maintenance,
Well, and that's just it, right? It's like, and I tell you, we're living this right now, is trying to find good people. Like I'm telling you, it's 10 to 12 interviews to find one. And it's all, we test for culture, we test for all these things, but it's not even the upfront physical appearance. It's will you talk to my customer without dropping the F-bomb? Will you, I worked for a big company up in the D.C. area. I showed up on the job, and the installer was cutting coke lines on the ductwork. Right? Okay. It's like, what are you doing? There's kids upstairs, right? So it's like finding good people is part of customer service, because these are the people we're putting in people's houses, and it costs money. By the way, it costs money to drug test somebody. It costs money to send them for a background check. Those things, it's not cheap. Yeah. But it's something we gladly do. But I got to recoup that money somewhere, and I got to charge somebody for it, right? It's an investment.
Yeah. And you almost have to be looking for that every time you're out in everyday life. You have to look for those characteristics in people, and when you find somebody that meets your qualifications as far as character and just their personality and how they act and treat people, you got to be putting a job offer out there, hey, we want, that's what we need to do rather than just hiring within the industry. Sometimes you got to get outside the industry and, hey, you see somebody working tables at a restaurant and they're just fantastic. That person could probably make a great employee and, get them home with their family at night.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. And I'm telling you, man, and we've interviewed some really good people, some people with amazing resumes, and they sit down. I'm like, dude, like they would walk out of here, and I'd look at Al or I'd look at whoever's in the interview. I'm like, that joke ain't coming to my house. there's no chance. Lock up the kids. It's like
Yeah,
it's bad.
it's
So
unfortunate.
it is. Absolutely is. So back to a question, real quick. I was wondering if you've seen some out of the box stuff with some of the people that you've worked with, some good customer service tips that you may have. Can you think of anything?
Yeah, I well, I'm thinking of one. Well, it's more of a guarantee, but customer says they're offering a 5-year parts and labor guarantee on any repairs right now. I didn't even know this until the other day, so I
Wow.
got to talk to them. So that they're guaranteed their technicians are doing a great job. That they're going to warranty it
Yeah.
for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good.
I know that's saying something, you
Yep.
know. Um, but I honestly, like I said, I need to talk to them about that. We've done some guarantees before, but I didn't know they were doing 5 years
Yeah.
parts with it. So, I mean, they told us one thing. I was just in a yearly annual kickoff meeting the other day, and they talked about trying to do little things of coming to the house, they see the trash cans at the street, it's empty, rolling the trash can up and asking the homeowner, where would you like us to put it?
Yeah.
You know, just sometimes little things like that, helping out. They were saying, you're in the attic and, it's at the holidays. You need to help me take down some Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
I think it's just like I said, going, just, being there to just being a good human,
Yeah.
helping people.
That's right.
I think society, we've lost a lot of that, and I think that's part of society today. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but, honestly, it's what I say a lot, just, on the like marketing side with people. We're talking with a customer today in Texas and potential customer, but it's little things.
Yeah.
And, they're sponsoring. They were saying, "Oh, we're sponsoring local sports teams, and give the little footballs out to throw out at the games." And they were, sponsored some of the teams, had something up at the football field. And I said, those little things are great. I said, that's you're in the community, that you're a part of it. And
Yeah.
you're part. You're looking to help. And sometimes I think it's those things that are almost. It's not related to exactly what we're doing, but it just shows that we're good people.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
so,
I will never forget. There was several things hammered into us. Number one, you never park in the driveway. Number two, you never ring a doorbell. You don't know if a baby is sleeping. You always knock on the door. Number two, once you knock on the door, you step at least 5 feet away from the door to not make people feel uncomfortable. There were so many of those little things. Your shoe covers. You protect the carpet. You treat their house better than you do your own. There's so many of those little things that it's just hammered into our service industry that we forget about, and something that we're doing a big emphasis on bringing back. And it's like, no, don't take your shoes off. Put shoe covers on, right? So it's like people don't want to smell your big old sock with a hole in it. We don't want to see that. Put shoe covers on, right? So just a lot of those things, and then just being upfront and honest with the customer with everything you see and find in their system. There's this feeling a lot of times that it's bad customer service to point out certain things and give them options. Man, that's great customer service. If you're coming to look at my house and do a maintenance, I want to know if my capacitor is starting to lose its punch. I want to know if you see a contactor being pitted, because then I can make the decision. Allow me to make the decision.
That's right.
Don't take it upon yourself to think about what my financial responsibilities might be, right? I'll make that decision. Jason can probably tell many stories. Like, I used to be a comfort consultant. Do you know how many times, or actually how many times? Once, an old lady pulled out $7,500 out of her mattress and handed it to me. I didn't think she could afford anything, right? So it's like, don't judge the situation. Good customer service dictates that you give them the option to make the decision.
I think you present things. And,
Yes.
you don't prejudge.
Mm-mm.
And I hear this story from comfort consultants all the time, Jason, that they would say, you think you go to the house at the country club or the high end home that's got 2 or 3 nice vehicles in the driveway.
Yeah.
You go, they wanted the cheapest thing possible.
Yeah.
They couldn't get financing, and they were mortgaged up to their eyeballs. And then you go to the hard, middle class neighborhood, hardworking people, and like you said, JJ, they pull out cash or write a check.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They didn't worry about financing, whatever. And those are good people. But I think presenting, just saying, here's options for you guys, and listen to the consumer.
Yeah.
That's
let
right.
them talk and just present things, but making them aware. And that was I listened to a webinar on the ACHR News yesterday, and it was about what the homeowner wants. And I think we have preconceived notions of what they want. We don't know. They may want the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
We think, oh no, that I'm gonna give them a 15-seer single stage option or 14, versus they might want a full modulating variable capacity system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's right.
they may want higher indoor air quality products, the full 9 yards.
No.
So
Yeah.
you can't do that, but talk to them about things. And I think the other thing of building that relationship, that's customer service too,
Yeah.
of letting them know, educating them. JG, you and I talked about this the other day. They talked about on the ACHR podcast or webinar, excuse me, that you're not talking to that consumer and letting them know that, hey, you got some issues going on. This system's got some age. You're prepping them and letting them know, because they hammered home the point that most other appliances you pre-plan for failure.
Mm-hmm.
My washer and dryer is getting old. I'm going to go ahead and look to replace it. Right now, my garage fridge is from 1997.
Beer fridge.
And it's well, it does have beer. The freezer, she goes, ice cream. It's like it's perfect because it's not frozen all the way.
That's right.
And so I'm like, I'm probably going to get a Home Depot this weekend. I was going to go this past week. I didn't make it, but I just want to look and see to get one, but go and preemptively do it. But people don't do that in this industry, and why? It's all the studies show. It's like 80% of people are going to wait, and I've heard technicians tell me that. Like, Will, we're out here in the heat of summer going, it ain't going to make it. Or they're at the beginning of summer, and then they don't want to do it. And then they wait to the heat of summer, and it's 95 out, and it's a push decision. There's no thought put into it. So letting them know and giving them options like, hey, this thing's getting old. You got another couple of years. You spent a couple $1,000s in the last couple of years on repairs. You should think about it.
Yeah.
And we start kind of putting that idea in their head and kind of softening them up for it. So it's not like, as I hear people all the time, they come out and they've been maintaining the system for 3 or 4 years or whatever, and all of a sudden, hey, Mr. Wilson, you need a brand new system. They're like, right. What?
Yeah.
We talking about it? And that's when they go, I'm going to go get another estimate.
Yes.
And then what happens? Oh, come in and they're $6,000 cheaper. What happens? You just lost a customer.
Yeah. And I think we probably do a really good job at that as well. Our technicians, if it's a major repair, they get it over to us and let the homeowner know, hey, one of our comfort consultants are going to give you a call or give you a quote. And so what we'll do is we'll just put together an estimate and do a complimentary estimate to send over, and no pressure, just saying, hey, this is how much it costs to replace a system. You should start thinking about it. You've got a major repair, or even if you don't have a major repair, if it's a minor repair and it's getting, 13, 14, 15 years old, we know what's coming. Stuff doesn't last like it used to. And so, we try to be upfront with the customer and prepare them mentally that, hey, this is coming. And when it does happen, we're here for you.
And that's good customer service.
Yeah.
I just think that's really good, All right. So we're at 40 minutes, Will, and you know what time it is. Do we have somebody that we're going to call tonight? Do you have recommendations? I think this is the the phone a friend.
Let me look who I've been chatting with this afternoon. Let's see who would be good. We're looking to grow our following on this, Jason, and so I've been texting out people, talking to people.
Well, you gotta at least prepare them, right?
No, so that's the thing, right?
Nah.
So Jason, we didn't tell you about this piece. This is a segment that we stumbled upon because I bought this little thing for the Zoom pod track thing, and so we can make phone calls.
Oh, I watched the last podcast. And I've been thinking about who I want you to call.
Well, if it's coming from your number, then if it's somebody one of my kind, I don't know if they'd answer.
Right.
To be honest.
Well, who do we both know that we can call that's probably okay on customer service, or that can say something good about it?
Are we thinking customer? Or are we thinking on the distribution side?
Actually, I have somebody that I think will answer the phone. Hold on. I'm going to surprise you. Is that okay? All right.
Okay.
See what I got here. Hold on. Let's see if we can do
I
this.
like a surprise. It's been a long week.
And
It's
actually,
been busy,
all three of us know him.
nonstop. We got a lot of travel coming up, Jason, and trying to
Yeah.
orchestrate things to be ready.
Where are you guys headed?
Greenville next month, Orlando, uh, Charleston, Augusta,
Nice.
Vegas,
Nice.
March. I'm a homebody though these days, so it's fun. It's not all that. I mean, it's not like we're out digging ditches or anything. It's not that hard. But
Yeah.
you know, I like sleeping in my own bed these days.
All right.
Yeah.
See if he. See if
I
this
think
will
I
work.
referred a buddy to you all recently.
You did. We'll talk about that offline. Thank you. Good guy. I don't deal with him directly, but good guy.
Yeah.
Hello, you've reached the voicemail.
Oh, come on, man. These guys got to get better about answering daggone phones. So, all right. I was going to call.
was it?
I was going to call Keller. Oh, wait.
I
James
was
Keller.
thinking-
Hey, sorry about that. I was on the other line.
No problem. I would like to say welcome. You called directly into the Beer Can Cold podcast with Will Merritt and Jason Wilson, and we thought we would give you a shout and see if you answer the phone tonight.
Why wouldn't I?
Hey, Keller.
So, Mr. Keller, the reason your name came up in my head is because the podcast today is all about customer service. And I said, man, I think the three of us know one guy that's pretty good at the customer service piece. So we were going to get your take on it.
Sure. What's the take? The take is, that's basically all we've got. We don't make anything. We don't install anything. We sell customer service. That's it.
That's right. So for our listeners, James works for Virginia Air Distributors, and he is a territory manager, and one of the best out there, in my opinion. So the customer service piece, I learned a lot from James because he was also the branch manager in Virginia. And I remember us going to some really tough customers. I'm talking squirrels jumping out bib coveralls, and the customer service never wavered, did it?
Yeah, like I said, that's all we got. So sometimes our customers don't reciprocate, but that's okay. They always come around at some point.
Yes, they do. Well, thanks for answering the phone,
Well, it's
buddy.
nice.
We really appreciate you answering the phone. And how about them Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, right. Duval. Terrible. I'm going to burn all my Jaguars gear. I've had it.
Where are you going to go then?
Well, I don't know. Because I
Panthers
can't go to
bandwagon?
Carolina.
Come on, you're a season ticket holder up here. Come on.
Yeah, well, I do have season tickets, but that's a brutal beatdown too. You know what though? I told some Green Bay fans a while back when we were in Jacksonville, and I said, Sunday is just my weekly reminder that life, although it's perfect every other day, Sundays bring me down to reality that not everything is going to go my way.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Well,
Now
hey,
you know
I
how
think
the
the
Panthers
future
fans
looks
feel,
pretty
right?
bright for the Panthers.
Agreed.
We'll take some incremental improvements next year.
Well,
Saw
and
a few of them.
Yep.
who thought that and I will call them the Redskins, who thought that the Redskins will make it to the playoffs? I mean, big turnaround there when the ownership changed, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
quarterback is fantastic.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think they have a good culture there. It seems like, and one of our people, she's up in Maryland and diehard fan. Whole family sent picture Sunday before the game. The whole kids, husband, everybody's in Commanders gear, Redskins gear,
It's the
whatever.
Redskins.
He was pretty devastated on the Monday call, but it was impressive.
Good stuff.
So,
Well, James, thanks for answering the phone, buddy. We film every Wednesday evening, and this is a little segment we do where we just pull out a phone and call somebody and see if they'll answer. So thanks for calling back.
No worries. You guys have a great day.
All right, buddy.
James.
Be good.
Hey, man.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right, and then one last piece of business as we're starting to kind of wrap this up is we need our customers to find us and follow us because
Yes.
that's a big deal. So in this podcast at the bottom, I'll post a link tree. If you have an Indeed account, that would really be helpful because we can't live stream on Indeed until we have, 100? Not Indeed, I'm sorry. I keep saying Indeed. You know why? It's because it has the little IN thing, just like, so LinkedIn, my bad. Not looking for a job.
Now we're doing pretty well though. We went from 2 last night.
Me and
to
you.
41. Yeah. AG and I, so we have 41. So quite a few people. Actually, we may have. Look like we gained another one. I don't recognize her. So yeah, we've gained quite a few. We're just asking. I've been texting people. We really appreciate. I have some of my friends, and I said you don't have to listen to us.
Just like us.
If you just follow us, but hey, we're just getting our feet wet with this. We definitely can bullshit with the best of them.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we got that. But as we get a lot, I think we'll start to, roll things out a little bit more and be a little more, unchecked.
Yeah.
And I think as the weather gets warmer, Jason, we'll probably be looking to do some on location stuff out at the grill. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Turn the mics
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Well, today I've hardly been out today. I think twice, and been on the phone and calls all day. But a couple times I went out, I was like, man, it's nice outside.
No, absolutely. So yeah, please like us, follow us, subscribe. We even have a Tickety Talk channel. I set it all up. So, we have our little things there. So thank you very much for listening, and we will be back next Wednesday.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you all having me on today.
Thanks, Jason. Cheers, boys.
Yeah.
All right, guys.